Singapore's Football Association says they are continuing to work closely with both domestic and international authorities. A betting syndicate from the country is accused of coordinating a global match-fixing operation. Europol revealed on Monday that 380 professional football matches across Europe and a further 300 in other continents had been fixed. The EU's intelligence sharing agency claimed 425 players, referees and match officials were involved. Well, according to football columnist Neil Humphreys, Singapore has been ignoring the problem for a long time.
Only one national newspaper in Singapore put it on their front page today, whereas in the West, UK and parts of Europe, it was front and back pages everywhere. In Singapore, in some newspapers, it was buried. It was buried in either the sports section or in a smaller section of page 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. For some strange reason, because gambling and football betting and match fixing, sadly, is so deeply entrenched in the Asian DNA in this part of the world that most people just shrug their shoulders and accept that it's normal. And as I'm talking to you now, we're still waiting for an official reaction from the police. But there are alleged, I stress alleged, suspects who have been living in Singapore for some time. And the question has to be asked, why hasn't more been done to at least find these guys and question them?
Well, joining me now is Mr. Heinz Palme, who's the Business Development Director for the International Centre for Sports Security. Mr. Heinz, thank you very much for joining us. First, you've heard Mr. Humphreys, who we interviewed earlier on. He was saying that this problem has been going on for many years in Singapore and it's been ignored, the match-fixing problem. I mean, who should be doing more on this, local police or the football governing bodies like FIFA?
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. I think, first of all, we must say it's a very complex case and it goes all over the world. It's a global case. It's not about Singapore, it's not about Europe, it's not about Asia. It's a global problem and therefore it must also be seen as global activity. That means all the organizations all over the world have to sit together to discuss it and to investigate in the best possible way. In this case, of course, we know that's Singapore Syndicate and the difficulties, the legislation. What are the guys doing? They're fixing matches, not in Singapore. They're fixing matches maybe in Austria, in Croatia, in Germany, in UK. How can you approach and how can you deal with this? That's the question. And we, as the ICSS, the International Centre for Sport Security, it's one of our main business fields to work around this.
So if one of them have came to you for help, what would you recommend to these organizations? How would you help them?
Yeah, first of all, our Director for Sports Integrity, Mr. Chris Eaton, who was the former head of security of FIFA, he has worked in these fields over the last 2.5 years and he knows almost everything. All the investigations, everything what came up now with the press conference yesterday, there is no secrets behind. Many of these stories have been distributed, published over the last 2 years. So yesterday it was more or less a summary of everything and it was very important to raise all these stories and just to open more or less the discussion. And what would we have done? Yes, please come, we can advise you, we can give you some feedback on the past, but what is even more important, how to go into the future, because that's something for the future of our children, of the integrity of sports. And that's the case, we have to step in and we are working on programs. We have developed over the last year many activities and programs, and whoever has a problem with can approach us.
Okay. This investigation that the Europol have conducted has been going on for 18 months. How much of a concern is it to you that FIFA, UEFA and the English FA that have no clue about the investigation, have just found out about it on Monday?
That's of course not the case. They know about, as I just said, Chris Eaton, as the former head of security of FIFA, he started for FIFA to investigate. He investigated the South African case of match fixing before the World Cup. So there is a lot of knowledge, but of course the investigators, and in this case Europol, they gathered all the information over a period of some 2-3 years now, and now they came out with a more or less with a result, with numbers, with figures saying 425 players, referees, officials are involved. So of course the organizations know about. FIFA has a security department with a focus on integrity. UEFA has an integrity unit. The Premier League and the FA in England, they are all aware, and now I think it's very important that we follow up in a partnership. All have to come together, and we have a good opportunity on the 18th and 19th of March here in Doha. We are going to organize Securing Sport, a big conference.